Hello, I'm Zoe Pressey, and our main research question would be, how can women of all gender, race, sex, national, and ethnic be empowered? Some of the identifications and benefits in regards to this question would be women of color, particularly brown and black ethnic group members, are being targeted with racial discrimination and unfair treatment. Transgendered women of color are treated with more inequality because they do not follow their gender role and they physically change themselves into the opposite gender and are very likely to get divorced, and it will be more difficult for them to get remarried. The majority of brown and black women of all gendered types oftentimes end up in poverty, working out the most dangerous, low-paying jobs at industries, power plants, farms, slums, and other workforces. Colored women are not given proper education that they need in order to be successful in life, and they are disadvantaged. Schools, colleges, and universities are segregating black women from other types of ethnic, and there are very few who make it to college. Some of the barriers and achievements of social justice in regards to this would be the change of immigrant policy through strong advocates who speak on behalf of brown and black colored ethnic groups, opens the third eye point of view, and reshapes the ways of how white supremacy perceives racial groups, allowing people to make perspectives in ways that are more patronized, civil, human, fair, and kind by viewing everyone in similar and different ways, but treated with equality and equity. Challenges people who hold false, stereotypic, discriminative, racist, sexist, prejudiced, and other negative ideologies in regards to how women of color are being perceived by others, which raises some questions like, why do we care? What is so important about reproductive rights for women? One of these things that answers that question is due to women who marry an intimate partner will most likely form strong connections with them and have similar interests, characteristics, and personalities. Unfortunately, most women of color are most likely to get divorced due to racial differences in social class.
Hi, my name is Haley, and my slide talks about the efforts made to address women's issues in reproductive rights. I've broken it down into 4 main areas: policy changes in legislation, global and national efforts, education and awareness, and economic and community support. Let's start with policy changes in legislation. The Affordable Care Act has improved access to reproductive health care by requiring insurance to cover 18 contraceptive methods at no cost. At the state level, some states have taken additional steps to protect reproductive health care. For example, they've created funding programs and passed laws to safeguard these rights even as federal policies change. Next is global and national efforts. Globally, USAID's gender policy focuses on reducing gender disparities, tackling gender-based violence, and empowering women as leaders. On the national level, organizations like Planned Parenthood advocate for reproductive rights and provide essential services to support women's health. Now on to education and awareness. Health education programs are critical for teaching safe family planning and reproductive health options. Campaigns like #MeToo have also raised awareness about reproductive health and helped reduce the stigma around these important conversations. Finally, economic and community support focuses on reducing barriers for low-income women. Affordable contraception programs like Title X help birth control be more accessible. Local health clinics also provide critical services to underserved communities, including women of color and low-income families, ensuring everyone can access the care that they need. In conclusion, these combined efforts through policies, global initiatives, education, and community support are helping to address women's issues and reproductive rights. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kirsten Kozic, and I'm going to be discussing a theory from the class. And one theory from the class that relates to the topic of women's rights is under the category of general theories of sex and gender equality, but specifically Sanday's theory of male dominance. Her theory discusses that male dominance is a fix for social stress because it's what's been known for so long. Male dominance is originated from ancient concepts of power. That's not so simple to escape. Adaptation and adapting to what society creates is easily done for people. It's a human trait. Cultural and religious expectations. This has been rooted in many cultures and families, and it's causing many men and women to continue this sense of male dominance because it's what they believe. Psychological roots of male and female expectations and roles for society. This is what Sanday says is ultimately what connects back, is because it's rooted in our brains, our cultures, our societies, our communities, and so it's going to be something that tends to come back to. These roles continue to affect male dominance and how they play out today.
Hi, my name's Maddie, and I'm going to be covering women's issues on a macro and micro level. Gender discrimination is the unequal treatment of someone based on their gender, gender identity, or gender expression. It's rooted in preconceived false societal and personal notions about what gender is and how it should look. Sexism is linked to beliefs around the fundamental nature of women and men and their roles in society. For the majority, women face the most sexism, where they're looked down upon and receive far lesser rights and opportunities than men in society. On a macro level, economic inequality can be a barrier faced where social norms, lack of access to finance, and discriminatory policies are put in place, not allowing women to advance economically. Violence, where women face intimate partner violence. Gender inequality, where women become undervalued and may have lower status levels in society, as well as reproductive rights, with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which has led to more states banning abortions for women. On a micro level, gender microaggressions, with the silencing of women and questioning their abilities, reduces their self-worth. Conflict, which can worsen women's rights and security to where increased vulnerability occurs, which heightens inequalities, which leads to more backlash against women. Opportunity, where being a woman may mean being violated of certain rights because of gender discrimination and sexist values, which restricts women of advancing any way forward in society. As for women's issues, policies, and practices, the United States Agency for International Development has worked to create a gender policy which aims to address the root causes of gender inequality, promoting more equitable gender norms. As for education and healthcare, improving access to affordable, high-quality education and childcare is crucial. Workplaces, where they support flexible and friendly workplaces for women with no gender disparities or room for discrimination. Pay and opportunities, which ensures fair pay and job opportunities for women, emphasizing more female leadership roles. And finally, violence, which eliminates gender-based violence and mitigates its harmful effects. Women's rights are human rights, where these include the right to live free from violence and discrimination, to enjoy the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health, to be educated, own property, vote, and earn an equal wage.
Access to reproductive rights also connects to other social inequalities. For example, economic inequality. The Affordable Care Act expanded access, requiring coverage for aging contraceptive methods. Challenges include high costs for birth control, especially in states where coverage is limited. This could lead up to $800 a year for contraceptive pills. In employment disparities, women make up 64% of part-time workers, often without employer-provided insurance. The court case Burwell versus Hobby Lobby 2014 allowed companies to deny contraceptive coverage, impacting low-wage workers. For economic impact on low-income and minority women, there is a financial strain. For about 50.5 million people in their peak reproductive years and live below 250% of the poverty line, face disproportionate costs for reproductive health. For example, it could cost up to $6,000 for sterilization. And 250% below the poverty line would equal $30,150 for a one-person household in 2017. Women of color who statistically earn less are particularly affected by this. Racial and ethnic inequality. Disparities in contraceptive use. 67% of white females use contraceptives versus 59.9% of black females. Access barriers contribute to this gap. Maternal mortality rates. Black women are 3.3 times and American Indian women are 2.5 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. Systemic issues like clinical biases and racism delay or prevent adequate care. Medicaid and Affordable Care Act limitations. Non-expansion of Medicaid eligibility in southern states contribute to racial health disparities. Lack of access impacts disenfranchised populations, affecting overall reproductive and maternal health outcomes. And then here is a table showing the disparities between non-Hispanic Black or African American, Hispanic or Latina, and non-Hispanic white. And if you look in the outcome sections, for unintended pregnancy, the rate is 79 for African American, 58 for Hispanic Latina, and 33 for non-Hispanic white.
So with all of this in mind, how can we take action? We can speak out, pressure people in power, support campaigns, volunteer, and so many more steps, because women and girls still face discrimination on the basis of sex and gender. And for many years, there have been many women's rights movements, such as #MeToo and the 4B movement, which have fought hard to address this inequality. Organizations such as Amnesty International has worked to educate and pressure those in power to fight these laws limiting the rights of women and girls. Asserting ourselves into these movements, using our voice, pressuring the people in power, and fighting to change these harmful laws, as well as holding our governments accountable for their commitments to gender equality, is necessary to make a difference in our society. Thank you.